much.
Anybody want?
Okay. We have one more speaker. Where is he? Paul?
Our next speaker has written several books on civilization jihad.
From Rochester, New York, the author of Civilization Jihad and the Myth of Modern Islam. I'm also a talk show host of Civilization Jihad Awareness, and you can find that on Blog Talk Radio. It's time to wake up, Canada. Civilization Jihad is the result of two actions. One of them is the secret doctrine of Hijra. This word goes back to what Islam calls the beginning, the zero date. The first Hijra, the day Muhammad left Mecca. This is an all-important concept. Counterterrorism experts around the world are waking up, thanks to men like Thomas Quiggin, a great Canadian, great patriot, and many other great patriots in Canada and the USA, like Bill Warner. This Hijra is a migration for the purpose of jihad. The first migration was done to build up and return to destroy Mecca. We know this because the Muslims wrote about it. They wrote about discovering Muhammad's military alliances against Mecca. It is why they sought to kill him when he fled. Hijra. It's what happened in Europe and is continuing to happen. Mostly military-aged men left Muslim countries and went to European ones, not for better economics. Erdogan, the president of Turkey, just threatened to direct Hijra at Hungary if they do not loosen their border control this month. That is a confirmation that the Hijra I have been writing about for 2 years is a very real thing indeed. Why are these people coming? Liberals claim they are refugees. How is that? Yes, they lived in an area of war, but they left rather than fight for their country. Were they fleeing ISIS? No. These people want Sharia. They are not fleeing anything. They have been and are pursuing what they claim is jizya, or non-Muslims providing for them. A free ride. History records what jizya is. Islamic histories record it. It is a tax placed on non-Muslims, allowing them to basically live another year. That is all. Today, in Europe, they claim welfare is jizya. In 2016, Canada took in somewhere between 40,000 and 48,000 Syrians. Now, the Star says, so the government says on their site, on the Canadian government site, it says 40,000. The Star, one of your great newspapers here, says 48,000. Is it the Canadian government cannot count, or is it the Star is wrong? I have an question with this. Sadly, the Globe and Mail went so far when they reported on this to show a picture of a Syrian passport. The hilarious thing about this is, at the time they showed the passport, it was well known you could buy a Syrian passport, and yet they were still allowing people to enter Canada showing these things that had been known to be sold for as simple as 20,000 or euros. And it had been exposed throughout Europe that this was happening. Your major media outlets are no better than ours in the United States. If the truth won't fit their message, they hide the truth. That resulted in Canada taking 25,000 people of questionable origin in 2016. 25,000 to 48,000. Let's think about that. The statistics on how many came in 2017 are nowhere to be found on a Canadian government site. I have looked. I have to wonder why. These people did not fear persecution. Keep in mind that. These people did not fear it. Why? Because they are Muslim. They would just obey Sharia. They are Sunni Muslims. They agreed with Sharia. In 2017, The first 1,000 that came, the UN did not even certify as refugees. I'm talking about who came to Canada. So let's think about what they're bringing here to Canada. Let's look at what they want. In 2011, CN News reported that a large number of Muslims living in Canada will not disown Al-Qaeda. The study conducted by McDonald Laurier Institute found 65% of Muslims questioned said they would repudiate absolutely the terrorist organization, while 35% would not do so. From a security perspective, it's difficult to know if 65% of repudiation of Al-Qaeda is reassuring or a 35% failure to repudiate troubling. They wrote in it, the study that the authors wrote. Christian Lorprecht, Associate Professor of Royal Military College of Canada, and Conrad Wynn. You are aware Islam is not a race, I hope.
No, they don't know.
The most radical, this is again the quote from the Canadian source here. The most radical political views tended to be expressed by relatively secular people, often equipped with higher education in the social sciences, while devout Muslims were sometimes the most articulate advocates for Canadian and democracy. According to the Ottawa-based think tank, only a small minority of Muslim newcomers to Canada reject Hamas, Hezbollah, or the Iranian regime. The survey, which was released, found 62% wanted some form of Sharia in Canada. 15% of them saying it should be mandatory for all Muslims. The report also states support for extremism is just as high among Muslims born in Canada or other Western countries as it is among those hailing from oppressive dictatorships. Knowing this information, Canada took 40,000 in 2016 who have lived under Sharia. Keep in mind, this is what they want for you, not just them. I have said this hijrah comes before jihad. Many of you know jihad is war against non-Muslims. But do you know this war is not necessarily hot? There are 3 levels of jihad. Heart jihad. Every Muslim must hold this anger and hatred in their hearts of hatred against non-Muslims. Word jihad. Muslims may engage in dawah, Islamization of knowledge, changing things like history, so it's okay for Muslims. They can engage in politics in an attempt to destroy the government from within. They can engage in debates, lying, and more. Just the type of person you want in RCMP fight. Right? The RCMP, right? Tom Quiggin. That's fine. That's fine. You don't have to pick this up. Tom Quiggin and crew discovered the Canadian people have been sending, the government has been sending a $1.5 million to Islamic Relief, a Muslim Brotherhood charity, and a good friend of Hamas. Finally, there is action. It's the highest level of jihad is what they call action, the hot jihad. This past September in Edmonton, a Canadian in Edmonton, Canada, a man drove into a policeman and tried and did stab him and others. What else will it take to wake up Canada? When will the Canadian people, the Canadian government, begin to protect its people by looking at threat doctrine? This is a problem in the United States also. Until the new appointment of John Bolton and Pompeo. Thank you. This war has been going on. This cold, hidden war civilization has been going on for 60 years. 60 years. It started here in Canada and moved to the United States. It started here. Time to wake up, Canada. Time to wake up and stand for Canadian values and stand for your own country and protect it from Sharia. Thank you.